Hello and welcome to Tank and Amphy News. Today we are doing a book review. This is Forgotten Archives 3, The Lost Signal Corps Photos by Darren Neely, published by PanzerWrecks. Artwork by Felipe, Rodna. I'm not sure how to say his name. I should learn that since he's featured in a lot of books I review. This one, if you had seen our review of Forgotten Archives number 2, which we did, I could just say ditto, and that would pretty much describe it. It's part of a series. It's pretty similar to the last one, and that, in this case, is a good thing because these are very nice and interesting books. The format, as you can see, is hardcover. It is fairly substantial, well over 200 pages. And like all the PanzerWrecks books, it is published in, I'm not sure what the publishing terms is, but I think of them in terms of, landscape and portrait. And this is landscape, sort of aspect ratio or whatever you want to call it. Which means that once we open the book up, it's going to be a little hard to fit it all in camera, but we'll get most of it. The series is based on the authors researching the collections of some of the World War II U.S. Army Signal Corps photographers. So aside from the photos that they took that ended up sort of in the actual archives, also going and looking through some of their personal collections of photos they brought back from the war, stuff that hadn't been seen or published before in other books. And in this book, he sort of digs a little further, looking at some of the photos that belonged and found in different archives or belonged to men who weren't necessarily photographers, but might have been photo developers and whatnot in the Signal Corps. So let us go into the book here. Yep. As you can see, it comes with this nice PanzerWreck bookmark with a QR code that'll take you to their website. And they use QR codes throughout the book for so you can look up location details of the photos. So here we can see the contents, and he's got them organized sort of by unit or collection. So sometimes it's listed by the particular person who took the photos, or the source where the photos came from. So like this one, Sergeant Joseph DeMarco. Or it's, 7th Army Part 1 Operation Nordwind, so this particular unit during a particular operation. So it just sort of depended on what he found to a certain extent. So, as you can see, well over 200 pages. So you got the introduction, kind of discussing this book and the previous ones and what he was setting out to do. And then it sort of gets right into it. Here you can see a QR code. So I actually tested this one. If you scan that into your phone, it'll open up Google Maps and show you this location as it looks now. And nowadays it's a proper road with a fence and a field look like wheat or something. But 80 odd years ago or so, it was had a knocked out Tiger tank sitting there. So, interesting. And as you can see, the layout is pretty much one photo per page, which is nice because you can really see the photos very well. I mean, this is obviously going to be bigger than probably the originals. I'm no photography expert, but I'm assuming that most of these were probably not that big as far as the original photos, although I don't know. Maybe they were. Again, I don't know much about 1940s photography, to be honest. The quality of the pictures varies a bit depending on the quality of the original photos, not the reproduction. The reproduction in these books is always good. So like this one, you can see, like, it's a little hard to see the back of the turret because it looks probably, I don't know if it was just it got bleached out due to light or because the photo, being that old, got a little faded. But that's a problem with the photo itself, not the book. And it's still a very interesting photo because, hey, it's a Tiger tank, It's always interesting to look at wrecks of Panzers, which is the whole point of the series. So here we have a Panzer IV. Interesting photos. Like I said, the interesting thing about the series is that these are photos you have not seen elsewhere. These are not the same ones that get repeated in books. And they're going to be various different things. So here's one that's a tank that looks like it's brewing up, although it says that this is a staged action close-up of tank after being gutted by fire. Here they're loading. So, a variety of photos of different types of things. Sometimes it's knocked out enemy armor. Sometimes, like I said, it's these sort of staged photos. Obviously, they're trying to show off their armament and ammunition for propaganda purposes. recovery actions, and all sorts of interesting stuff. But certainly anyone who is interested in World War II armor will enjoy these. So we'll skip ahead because we don't need to look at every page, because that'd be an awful long video, and then you wouldn't have any reason to buy the book, because you'd have seen it all in this video, and that's not the point. So here we have the photographer himself and his camera, and some examples of pictures he took. We got a Panther, we got a Stug 4. It looks like it's seen better days. Yeah, so Stuart and Cow. So there's really not a whole lot else to say other than they're interesting photos, they're good quality photos, and you know, they are what they are. It's pictures from of World War II armor. So we'll flip through here just to give people an idea of the sort of the variety and different types of photos that they'll find in here. So 11th Armored Division. And every so often you'll see one of these Philip Rodna illustrations, as well as the photo that inspired it. And you can see he really does a nice job of recreating the image as art. There's of course a Sherman where they've cut out the front armor to reuse for up armoring another Sherman, as was sometimes done toward the end of the war. And that's another artwork. So that's generally it. Here's an interesting one. That is a very odd little vehicle. German storage of gasoline had forced conversion even of their armored vehicles. So this was, I assume, something used for training. It is on it looks like a Panzer II hull with the very early version suspension, not the standard. So that is quite an odd little vehicle. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. So if you're interested in oddball rare Panzers, that might be worth it just for that alone. It seems no matter how much you learn about German World War II armor, there's always something new. Some oddball little thing you've never seen before. So there we go, 240 pages. Not sure the price on this. You know, they didn't send me a cheat sheet that has those details on it, but I'm sure this is available at the PanzerWrecks website. So just do a Google search for PanzerWrecks, and you will find it there. These usually they're not cheap books, because you know, to print something of this quality and to make it worth their while, they have to charge a bit for them. But if you're serious and you want to have a nice collection of images of World War II era armor, you sort of have to pay to play. And books like this series generally, I looked up the first one, since I only have 2 and 3, and the first one is already like gone up to like well over $100 on the used market. So again, with these sort of limited run books, you know, you're not going to go find them in your used book shop very easily, and if you do find them online, they're going to know what they're worth. So that's what I have to say about that. So again, thanks to the people at PanzerWrecks. It's a gorgeous book. It's very enjoyable to look through if you're an armor enthusiast, and we give it a thumbs up. So that is Forgotten Archives number 3. We'll put a link to PanzerWrecks in the video description, and you can go to it from there. Thank you much. Bye.